chair now recognizes the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Clyde, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to express my sincere concern for the falsehoods Democrats are spreading across the country regarding Americans' ability to vote. Over the last year, Democrats have repeatedly alleged that the 2020 election was the most secure election in American history, bludgeoning any dissent or legitimate election integrity concerns as, and I quote, the big lie. Yet in the same breath, the left has also spent the last year championing an election reform bill, the so-called For the People Act, that aims to federalize our elections processes, ban voter ID, and fund incumbent campaigns with Americans' hard-earned tax dollars in the name of improving election security. In fact, the Senate Democrats are attempting to destroy 200 years of precedent by removing the filibuster to solidify Democrat control of elections, thinly veiled as election reform. But why is it necessary for the federal government to take over our elections process, a role specifically designated to the states by our founding fathers, if that process is working soundly and securely? You see, Democrats are willing to put political gains above morality in order to quench their ever-longing thirst for power. This is a perfect example of the ends justify the means, and that's wrong. It's really quite simple. Republicans want to make it easier to vote, but harder to cheat. We should all want that, but no. Democrats are tenaciously gearing up to destroy our republic as we know it by making it easier to cheat. Take my home state of Georgia. Today, the Vice President and the President will travel to Atlanta to spread more misinformation about voting rights as an attempt to pressure the Senate to eliminate the filibuster. Yet Biden will conveniently leave several facts out of his remarks. He will refuse to admit that before this year, his home state of Delaware denied voters in-person early voting, and now only requires 10 days of early voting, less than Georgia's minimum of 17. Why? Because this reality flies in the face of Biden's false narrative that our democracy is under attack by Republican efforts. This is more hypocrisy. He will fail to mention that just last week, Georgia finally launched an investigation into alleged illegal ballot harvesting in the 2020 election. Why? Because this truth does not support Biden's vilification of Republicans that raise concerns about the 2020 election. He will ignore the fact that New York is attempting to grant more than 800,000 non-citizens the right to vote in municipal elections. Why? Because Biden is willing to overlook illogical and dangerous solutions to obtain control over Americans' lives. Instead, he will comically claim that many Republican states, including Georgia, are attempting to disenfranchise Americans, when in fact their state voting laws strengthen election integrity to ensure every solitary American has free, fair, and honest elections. One citizen, one vote. I firmly reject Democrats' dangerous and deceptive ploy to centralize elections in Washington. It's wrong for Americans, it's wrong for election security, and it's wrong for the future of our republic.